Where are you going?
Hey everyone, it's Sky here. So today we are going to be doing an update to my coloring book collection and finished pages. So I'm just going to do a general video, all inclusive. It'll probably be in 2 or 3 parts. I'm going to keep them at about 31 minutes each. So this was actually requested by one of my followers on Instagram, and the 13th of August was actually the anniversary for my channel. I'm going by when I first joined YouTube rather than when I first started uploading, because it was a little bit sporadic in the beginning. I uploaded a couple tutorials and then didn't do anything, and then uploaded a color along and then didn't do anything. It would take a while to pinpoint exactly when I initially started getting a little bit more serious into the channel, so I'm just going to go by when I first joined. Apologies, Miss Lilo just jumped up on the desk. So I was actually hoping to get this out on the 13th, but life has been a little bit busy. As you guys know, I'm not streaming at all for the month of August, so kind of have a lot going on, and this is the first time that I've actually had the chance to be able to record anything. So with that being said, let's dive on in. And I'm going to do this in the same fashion that I did my coloring book collection video. So I'm going to go through the books in the order that I had received them. So starting off, if I can find it, here it is. Okay, starting off we have Tropical World by Millie Marotta. This was my first coloring book. Rain got it for me back in 2015. I've got a few pages done in here. I'm not going to go too in-depth on a lot of these pages, just to kind of keep the videos a little bit shorter. A lot of these were done with fine liner. Don't you bite my books. And Crayolas, as this was my first book, so wasn't really too serious into adult coloring. Don't mind the kitty. I'm gonna put you down. Oh. Okay, down you go. Thank you. So a lot of these were done with either the Crayolas or fine liners. There is, I think, only 1 or 2 that was done with Prismacolors, 1 with Scholars, or sorry, 2 with Scholars, I think, and 1 with Premiers, and then there's a page with Marco Ruffines in here. So for the most part, just budget pencils. I haven't really come back to this book very much. I think it's because of all the patterns. This one was one with the Prismacolor Scholars. It took quite a while to do. And this is the one that I've done with the Prismacolor Premiers and some chalk pastels for the background, because I think it was last year, 2018, I decided to do 1 page from every book of mine. So that is the page that I did for this book. So that's it for Tropical World. So the next book that I got, okay, sorry, I had to pause there for a second, the little one needed something. So the next book I got was Color Me Happy. And I've done quite a few in this. Again, most of this is with Crayola. And this is illustrated by Angela Porter. So I finished the whole first chapter. And I was kind of experimenting with Vaseline and Crayola because it's supposed to make the colors a lot more vibrant, which I think I did find to be true. Not very good with double-sided pages because the reds did bleed through. This was done with Sharpies and markers. And then I kind of just started going sporadically through the book, so I'm not quite sure what's done and what's not. Let's see, here's one that I've started. Haven't gotten back to that one. This one, I had an image in my head for how I wanted to do this one, and it just did not turn out the way I wanted. I think it's going to be easier for me to flip through the book kind of backwards here. This warped style here really reminds me of Lizzie Mary Cullen, so I really like those ones. Just colored a flower here to test out some markers. So it's usually my go-to book for testing things or trying new things out. Testing out water brushes. That was done with ink tints and was also testing out water brushes. This as well is to test out water brushes. Apologies for the shaky camera. Miss Lilo is getting off the shelf now. So that is it for Color Me Happy. Next I got Fairyland. So this and Color Me Happy were given to me by a friend. So in Fairyland I haven't colored a lot, and I don't think I have a lot of stuff that I have colored because I usually color them and then post them to mixed media canvases and stuff. So just kind of rip the pages out. I've colored some of them. I do really like how she turned out, even though her skin is terrible compared to what I could do now. I really like how this page turned out. And I'm not one for wallpaper pictures either. I was going to say wallpaper patterns and pictures at the same time. So that's it for Fairyland. Okay, next up in my collection, I have Henna to color and Mandalas to color, and I got this from my sister and her husband. I think I've only colored one page in here. I kind of gave these to Carbon. They're just those cheap dollar store coloring books. So yeah, little man is kind of colored a lot more in here than I have. I do really like the henna one. I think I colored one page in here. I don't think I kept it in though, unfortunately. And I'm not sure where that came from. I think my niece drew that. So yeah, super cute design, super fun for the kiddos to color with. or color in, I mean. Okay, so next up we've got Lost Ocean. Owls, and Anamorphia. These are the three next books that I added to my collection. I got these in February of 2016 off of Amazon. We'd gotten our tax return back and we decided to treat ourselves a little bit. So this is probably the book that I've gotten the most done in Johanna Basford's. I used to be a fairly active member of the Facebook group for this book. And me and my friend would kind of do a color along every month from it, but I kind of lost the time to do that when I started getting a little bit more involved in Hannah's work. And I did go through the entire book and color in all of the hidden objects because I wanted them to be the same. There's a tutorial on this. This was actually the first video that I posted. Unfortunately, it wasn't of this page, but it was how I did this page. And surprisingly, this is done with Crayolas. This page, not at all happy with how that turned out. The background did not turn out very good and it muddied up the fish quite a bit. Plus I wasn't very happy with the colors of the fish to begin with, so... This one is one of my favorite pages in the whole book, and I absolutely love pink with gold sparkle. And again, kind of strange because this is a wallpaper page and they're usually not my favorite. I had a lot of fun with these too, and of course I made the little circle bits sparkle as well. This took a long time. Not quite happy with the background here, but I did like how this part turned out. And then kind of same with here, I'm not super happy with the background, but it was fun and I kind of added in Nemo and Dory. And then the last page, I colored this page as Ariel and her daughter Melody. Pretty happy with that one. And that is it for Lost Ocean. So Owls, I absolutely love this book, but there's just so many details to it, and I've only colored one page, that's this one here, and I used Crayolas. I have not dove back in this book since getting my Prismacolors, so maybe I'm going to have to challenge myself and color one of the images because this is absolutely adorable. So this is by Creative Haven, and it's by Marjorie Sarnett. Hopefully I'm saying that right, Sarnett maybe. And then next is Anamorphia. Love this page and all the little glittery bits. So this was Prismacolor Scholars for the majority of this, aside from the background, which I used the Marco Raffines for. I really love this color in here, this golden tan color, and I find that it's really hard to find in a lot of different colored pencil sets, but I do absolutely love that color in the Marco Raffines, so if I'm searching for that color, that's usually the pencils I'll go to, even though I still kind of struggle with them. This was all Marco Raffine as well, I believe. Here we've got the birds. I did this one as a buddy color with a friend of mine, and then I just colored this one to kind of finish it up. is my zebra, and I actually took this page, or this book, sorry, to be spiral bound at Staples, and for some reason, just these 2 pages, they decided to, I'm not sure what the reasoning were, but they decided to kind of cut them so they don't really match the rest of the book, which is a little bit annoying, but I'm just happy that they didn't further damage any of the pages or the book, because I would have been very, very upset. Here's my fox. I use the Prismacolor Scholars for him, and I love how bright these colors are. They're absolutely gorgeous. If you can't afford artist grade pencils, the Prismacolor Scholars are a great go-to. I still love mine, and I don't really count him as finished because I think he needs background. The jellyfish page, I've drawn in some jellyfish. I mostly kind of traced Johanna Basford's jellyfish in there, and it ended up to be a gigantic mess. So I'm not sure if I'll ever color that. And then here I've got my snakes. They still don't have a background because I'm not quite sure what to do with them yet. I'll probably just do like a mottled acrylic paint background, as if they're just like coiling around in the dirt, or maybe like some grass or something. I'm not quite sure, but this guy is my favorite, blue and gold. Just absolutely love that, and I did use the Marco Rafines for this as well. And I love to glitter up the clouds in the books. This was done on live stream, and it took, I want to say, like 13 hours to complete. It took a long time. We did a neocolor background and then colored everything else in with Prismacolor Premiers, aside from the clouds, which I believe I used the Derwent Inktense on. And yeah, I'm super happy with this. And of course we had to stickle up those clouds, so they are super glittery. And that is it for Anamorphia. Okay, the next 2 I got from just a local drugstore. It is from the Creative Expression magazines, and I got Splash of Color and Flying Colors. I don't think I've done too much in these. Again, I mostly just scan and use these for mixed media work. So this is the page that I used for that tutorial that I was talking about from Lost Ocean. I kind of recreated that here in the tutorial. And then this is one of the few completed pages that I actually did in the book. I really love this. I used the Prismacolor Scholars for this as well. Super bright, vivid colors. Really happy with how it turned out. And then in Flying Colors, I think I only did 1. So there's lots of beautiful pictures in here. I need to dive back into some of these books. So this is the one that I did, and I used Staedtler pencils. I no longer have those though. I'm not sure what exactly they were called, but not too bad. I wasn't very happy with them. They were kind of difficult to work with. Next up, I got Mermaids, Fairies, and Other Girls of Whimsy, and oh, not this one. This Aquarium Fish book, and this was also, I got all of these books in February, so this was also on Amazon as part of that haul with Anamorphia and Lost Ocean. So these are like stained glass pictures, so you're supposed to be able to color them, and then you can take them out and put them on windows. Honestly, I was watching flip-throughs of coloring books, and I got this one just because I loved the sound the paper makes, because it's kind of like a plasticky kind of paper, and it just looked super cool. And I have colored 1 page in that, and that is this back page here. And yeah, I haven't really touched it since, so I think I'm gonna let Carbon have this when he's a little bit older and he can decorate his window. And this was my first Henna Lynn book. So I have taken it apart. I do regret it. I wish I hadn't have. I have 26 pages completed in this and 24 more to go. So I am halfway done this book. My plan is to completely finish it, and then I'm going to record a video of it finished before I take it in to get it spiral bound. And then if the spiral binding goes well, I'll just re-record it as it being spiral bound. But I want a video showing all of the pages just in case it gets wrecked for whatever reason. I hope that does not happen though. Okay, this one was done recently for last month's challenge in the Henna Lynn group, so July's challenge, and it was a 4-season challenge. So I've got spring, summer, fall, and winter. Fairly happy with this one, of course, aside from her eyelashes and the nail polish blizzard I attempted to do in the background that didn't turn out very well. Ballet Girl was done with Marco Ruffines. Then we have Bella's Sea Monkey. Her hair and I believe her skin was done on tutorial. Her hair for sure, I'm not sure about the skin. And then of course we had to glitter up her tail here. Oh, and her little flower. This is Willow. This was one of my favorite pages in the book, and I stuffed up her cheeks. She kind of looks a little bit like a clown. I wish I hadn't have put blush on her. So I decided to stickle up her wings, the wings of the dragonfly, the butterfly in her hair, and then all of these little ornate details on her. So aside from the cheeks, I'm really happy with how she turned out. This one is, I'm going to say Princess Izzy, but I know that's not right because I know which one that is. Hold on here. That's strange. Okay, yeah, because Princess Izzy is actually here. So this is Little Miss Delish. That's who this is. This one is Princess Izzy. That's why I was thinking that. Okay, so this is Little Miss Delish, and this was done with the Prismacolor Scholars, acrylic paint, watercolors. I did that effect on her dress to make it look like it was glittery. This one here is Showtime. This was done with Prismacolor Premiers, and I'm very, very happy with how this one turned out. I don't know if it'll pick it up, but I did put a little bit of nail polish glitter in her hair, just on some of the strands, as well as on little bits of the elephant's makeup as well. Next up we have Nellie, and I wanted to do her in kind of a different color and have her kind of almost like gothic kind of colors in a way, aside from her hair, which is super light. This was done with Prismacolor Premiers as well, and is one of my favorite pages. I'm very happy with how she turned out. Then we've got Birthday Girl, which was done with the Prismacolor Scholars. So I do really enjoy practicing shading with the Prismacolor Scholars, especially shading spheres. It's super fun. And this one I did add in a few of my own details. Some of the zebra print I kind of put in on here. I think the zebra print was here, and I think I added it in everywhere else. Actually, let's see. Yeah, see, if we look at the little thumbnail here, yeah, the zebra print was only on the bottom part of her dress. So I wanted to kind of incorporate that, so I put some on the balloons, a little bit on the top of her dress. I probably should have put a little bit on her wings too, but that's okay. This is Vixie, and she was done as a color along as well as an extra video because she took so long, and so the extra video was done on just the cat alone on how to paint fur. And I'm super happy with how fluffy this kitty looks. So that was done with Prismacolor Premiers and acrylic paint. Of course, all of these little dots were white, but going over red with white, yeah, it always goes pink. Haven't found a way to get past that yet. So next up we have Vera. Not super happy with this one. I think I used the Prismacolor Scholars. I definitely rushed it a little bit. Didn't really think about the colors I was choosing, and then attempted to do a galaxy background, which didn't turn out too bad, but it just kind of looks splotchy and very unrealistic, so not very happy with this one. Misty Morning here was done on live stream. I'm really happy with how she turned out, especially the fog in the background and then kind of the illusion of her being underwater. Super happy with that. Tree of Secrets was done for a challenge in the Henna group back before I was an admin of the group. Unfortunately, she didn't qualify, but I had a lot of fun doing her anyways, and I love working in grays and stuff. It looks super neat, so very happy with that one. Here we have Chelsea. She's done with Prismacolor Premiers, and again, I used the glitter effect on her tail to make it look super glittery, although it's not. Here we have Snow White. I think I colored this one on my own. I'm using Prismacolor Premiers and then Posca pen for all of these little white aspects. Okay, this is Michelle and Jojo. This was one of the first pages that I colored when I got a little bit more serious into coloring. So the background is watercolor, and then I actually used mark over fiends on this page, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. She's actually probably one of my favorites. Library Fairy, we did her on live stream. She's done with Derwent Inktense. Her wings were sparkly at one point, but it doesn't look sparkly now at all, even to me. I think I used Wink of Stella. I have to say that I'm not quite happy with that. I am a Stickles person. Next up we have A Princess is Born. This one we did on live stream, and this is done with Mark over Fiends. A lot of details to that one. I have to say I'm very happy that it's done. Next up is Berry Branches, and I was trying for like an Asian Japanese skin tone. I think I completely failed. A lot of my skin tones kind of turn out a little bit more Native American. That's the one skin tone that I usually can accomplish, but anytime I try to do a little bit of a different skin tone, it doesn't quite work out. So I do think this looks a little bit more Native American, but I do really like that kind of bluish undertone that it has to it. So it did turn out a little bit different than my usual dark skin, but I definitely need more practice with that. So this was colored with the Prismacolor Premiers. Here we have Bookworm Fairy. I'm fairly happy with her aside from her wings. I don't feel like her wings match her at all, but I had fun with her. Oops. Yeah, okay, that way. This one is Red Riding Hood. So a lot of people did blue and gold, which was my original thought for her clothing. A lot of people kept it to the traditional red. I decided to do it a little bit different, so I decided to do kind of green, gray, and a little bit of yellow, and then these cute little wolf puppies. Really happy with how this one turned out. That was Prismacolor Premiers. This was Prismacolor Scholars and acrylic paint, and it was also done as a non-dominant hand challenge, just for fun. One of the admin's friends had cut her thumb. I think her thumb, somewhere on her hand. So she wasn't able to color with her dominant hand, so we all did a non-dominant hand challenge for her. This is Maxine. She was done with Prismacolor Scholars, I think, for the most part, and then I think I used Premiers on her skin. The hair definitely looks like Scholars, but I'm not 100% sure. And then I went in and kind of gave her an avatar kind of look with scaly skin, and I glittered that up. I can't remember what I wanted to do for the background, but it didn't turn out, so I'm not too happy with that. But overall, I'm happy with the image. Here we have Annabelle and Jax, and I will still be doing a tutorial on how I did her hair eventually. I will get there, I promise, guys. Things have just been so crazy, and I think I might be employed pretty soon, so yeah, we're gonna have to do what we can. This here is Neptune and Triton. This was done with Derwent Inktense and the Kuretake Gansai Tambi watercolors. I used the metallic gold and bronze. I absolutely love how this one turned out. Here we have Alicia and Ileana, and I used Marco Raffine's for this one. And this was another one that I'm happy to get done just because of the amount of details in it. And I'm actually really happy with how it turned out, especially the little dragon here. Super happy with that. Lisa and Jaden was done as a color along, so that's available in real time. And that was done with Prismacolor Premiers. I'm not quite happy with the clouds, but everything else I'm content with. This was one of my very first pages colored, and this is Peyton. And I used Crayolas, I believe. This is Angie and Oliver. This is another one that I did with the Derwent Inktense, and I'm really happy with. Melissa was done as a Disney character challenge, so I did her as Pocahontas, and I used the Marco Raffine's for her and some fake snow up here. Really happy with how she turned out. Next up we have Lady Liberty, which I put in some fireworks in the background. And I believe I used the Prismacolor Premiers for her, although I can't quite remember. I don't know if I had I had to have had my Premiers because these colors are definitely not in the Scholars. So I want to say I used my Prismacolor Premiers for her and then Scholars for the skin for some reason. And then lastly we have Whimsical Winter, which we just did over live stream not too long ago, and this was super fun. I'm quite happy with how she turned out. I think she looks quite royal in her beautiful purple dress, and I had a lot of fun doing the snow and coloring in that fur, even though it was a little bit of a labor of love, that's for sure. So that is everything from Mermaids, Fairies, and Other Girls of Whimsy. I'll just get these pages back in here. So yeah, I'm still on a mission to finish this book. So I think that will conclude the first part of my updated coloring book collection and finished pages video. I hope you guys are enjoying, and I hope to see you guys in part 2. Alright, as always, take care. Bye!